Hi guys, I wanted to take a minute and show you a little bit of how you can take and manipulate a gel image, and importantly talk about how not to do it. So I took this picture just with my iPhone. You can have really expensive sort of digital capture equipment and gel light boxes and all kinds of things, but iPhones often work really well for taking a lot of gel images. So we're going to do the same type of a process with both our agarose DNA gel that we had here, and then when we have our protein gel, we'll do that as well. So I just wanted to highlight, maybe you can see here, there's like some bands that I can sort of see here, but they're pretty faint. Our ladder was a little bit smeary here. But right now I've got lots of other extraneous things that are here, and I'd like to do my best to have this gel do a better job of representing what I want the reader to see. So I'm going to use Adobe Photoshop to do that. So I'm going to open Adobe Photoshop here. I don't know if students have access to, as Mercyhurst students, to the full Creative Adobe suite. If you do, I would definitely recommend downloading it to your computer. It's a great suite of programs to have to do a lot of different things. All right, so let's go ahead and open up this file. So I just saved it as a JPEG here. So I'm just going to show you some different things that you can do here with this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it. And one of the things I'm going to highlight here as I do go through this is highlighting things that are okay to do to manipulate a gel image versus not okay to do. Big general rule of thumb is you don't want to create something that didn't exist normally. So usually that involves taking two different gel images and putting them next to one another, like those two gels were run as one gel. That's a big no-no. And any data or any manipulation that I do here, whether it's changing the intensity or doing anything else, I have to do to the whole gel. So I'll show you a few things that you could think about doing, but highlight again why they're wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and crop this image here. And then one of the things that's often done with gel images is they're made to be black and white. That just helps with photo reproduction if you can make sure that everything's black and white. And then also sometimes you might want to invert the image. So gel images that we have here with agarose, where we're looking at DNA, the DNA is lighter than the background, and that's because it's fluorescing because of the ethidium bromide that we had there. That's going to be different from when we stain our protein gels. We're actually going to be using a cationic stain that is going to bind to the negatively charged protein, and it's going to show up blue. So that's just going to be a physical color. So that's going to be something that is going to be a little bit different because that will be colored, but in that case, our protein is going to be the dark band against a light background. So first thing that I want to do here is I'm going to desaturate this. So I know what these shortcuts are here, but I want to show you guys where they are. So let's see, image. Here we go. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of have it auto fix the levels. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to do this. So this is a Command L, so I'll sort of do that. And then I'm going to desaturate it, and then I'm going to invert it. So I want to make sure that the levels are sort of balanced. I'm going to let the program do it itself. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to desaturate it. So I want to make it into a black and white image. And then I'm going to invert it because I want my bands to be dark against a light background. And so that's what kind of fixing the levels does there. And I'm going to toggle back and forth. Command Z is my favorite function. It undoes things. So I'm going to kind of take a look here and see. I kind of like how it, well, let's see. Well, we'll leave it with that and we'll see. So that sort of fixed the levels, that auto fixed the levels. Now I'm going to desaturate it. So that's what that does. I'm going to try fixing the levels again, see if it adjusts anything. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then I'm going to do an invert. And we'll try fixing the levels there again. So now what it does is it takes these bands that were light before and sort of makes them dark. So I'm going to do a little bit more. So one of the things to highlight is one of the things that I did is I made sure to do this to the entire gel. I'm going to show you in a second here. Let's crop this just a little bit more. One of the things that we don't want to do is specifically do something just to a certain band. So let's go ahead and crop this now. Let's see if we can fix, oh there, we fixed the levels again. That actually made it better. We definitely can see a bit more of this band. Now here's what you do not want to do. Let me show you what you can, what some people try to do, and again, it's a huge no-no. Is they're like, I want to see this band a little bit more. So I'm going to take that band and I'm going to say, fix the levels on this band. I want to make it look darker. So they'll go and they'll kind of toggle things here. Again, let me say, you know what? Let's go in. Let's go in and just highlight this band here. I want this band to look darker. So I'm going to kind of highlight where that band is. And then I'm going to go to my levels again, and I'm going to make that band look darker. Oh, doesn't that look so much better? Well, okay, that looks pretty fake right now, but it's crazy that you will see gels. I can show you guys. It was a paper that students found last year in my research group. It literally looked like this. It was so ridiculous. But you can have people who work a little bit more effectively with Photoshop editing to change the intensity of their bands. We don't want to do that. Okay, so here's where we were. What we can do is we can try to continually kind of change the entire sort of image. So if I select all of this and now I sort of fix levels, I can sort of adjust kind of the intensity to try to get the overall image of what I'd like to see. But anytime you're manipulating sort of the intensity of bands or things like that, you want to do it exclusively to the whole gel. Now, another option you could do, this is acceptable, is if you wanted to kind of take a little portion of it, kind of make a new figure of it, and then change the intensity and show that this is like an inset for this gel, and I've taken this part and I've specifically manipulated this part, but that has to be clear to the reader. Again, this is a huge thing because we have digital editing tools to do things now. It's really important that people understand the ethical implications of sort of changing your data to look how you want it to. That's not what we want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file, and what you guys are going to need to do is label the things that we have here. So this one actually maybe wasn't the best gel. Let me see if I can go back here and look at some other ones. So this one here, you can see a better, maybe this is a better gel to take. I'm going to take this one. And we'll actually go real quick here through the whole process again, just so you could see it. I'm going to export this to this same folder. What I like about this one is we a little bit better, I think, can see the bands there that are degraded RNA bands. Let me actually look through the other ones that I have here. This one, again, you can see that degraded RNA a little bit better. This one, you actually see the degraded RNA really well, but we don't see our plasmid DNA really well. But what I wouldn't want to do, right? I wouldn't want to take and say, oh, I like these two lanes best from this gel. I like these two lanes best from this gel. Oh, and this marker looks the best. So I'm going to just kind of push those two together because these are all, you guys all really did the same experiment, right? So let's just put these three. You cannot do that. What you have on one gel has to be what you show. But let's take, I think this one is actually, yeah, we're going to take and do that one. So I'm going to come back here to Photoshop. Let's just go through and let's do another one. Let's try this one. I'm going to do the same thing. We'll go a little bit more quickly now so you can just see. This really doesn't take long to do. So I'm going to crop, and sometimes you need to move back and kind of like see the gel. So I'm going to crop to here. I'm going to let it auto level. Oh, that looks a lot, like a lot better. I can see this here. I'm going to unsaturate, and then I'm going to invert. Now, I don't necessarily like what that did. When I did my auto level, let me try invert. No, I don't want to invert first. Let me unsaturate. No, let's auto level. And sometimes it's the order that you do things in. I guess that worked okay there. So I was just kind of changing the order that I did things in. That's okay because I'm doing everything to the whole gel. So what I can see now is, and let's see if we auto level that a little bit better. What I like is I can see down here a little bit better. I've got kind of this degraded RNA. Here again is my eluted plasmid, and then this was the double digest that we had. So one of the things that's important for us to do, and it's unfortunate we don't have a marker that really showed up really well on this gel, is we wanted to be able to see when we had some insert that got dropped out, what was the size of the insert. Now, one of the things that I don't necessarily like about this gel is I see that same band there. This is definitely plasmid. When plasmid gets cut and nicked, we see something that runs a little bit differently, but I don't necessarily like that I see that same band here. But again, the key to this lab was not necessarily to have us end up with this picture perfect gel. It was more teaching you some techniques here. So what I want you to do, and I'm totally fine right now if you just sort of do this on a piece of paper. This is how you do it normally. Maybe by the time we get to our protein gel, I'll have an opportunity to kind of show you how to do this digitally. I want you you can take this, print this out. If you'd like to just hand write, so you can do it digitally on an iPad if you have it, or print it out on a piece of paper and write. I want you to label the lanes, and then label, even if we don't see what we'd expected to see, let me know what you expected to see. So if this was our cleared lysate, what did we expect to see in here? Where do you think you'd expect to see this? Now, don't ever really write anything on your gel. If you're printing this out or you have some white space, kind of if you're doing this on an iPad or a tablet or something, go through and just kind of draw a little arrow and say, oh, at this spot, this is what we'd expect to see. Any bands that you do see, kind of hypothesize, what do you think they are? I'm less concerned that you get this 100% right as you just have practice sort of doing this. Okay, so that's a little bit on how to annotate your gel.